So recently there has been an increasing amount of talk regarding AI, and coincidentally I have been watching Chobits. I have just finished it and have some thoughts on it, since I think a lot of the themes and ideas in this show are more relevant than ever, which is impressive considering the anime came out in 2002. Chobits is a romance, sci-fi and slice of life anime from 2002. The premise is that in the future humanity has gotten to the point where it has created highly complex computers that look almost exactly like regular humans. They are called parsocoms. They are pretty popular among the general public and can be purchased in stores. Many use them for basic tasks and help with other stuff. Our main character, Hideki, ends up finding a parsocom in the trash while walking home and takes her to his house. That's probably the first time he brought a girl home. Once he turns her on, she can only say the word chi. So Hideki decides that will be her name. For most of the first half of the anime, it's basically a slice of life of getting to see Hideki and Chi adjusting to their new life. Now because of this, the first few episodes didn't really grab me, and honestly I kinda had a hard time getting invested into the series during the first half of it. I'm not really a fan of slice of life in general, and some of the episodes were kinda episodic slice of life episodes. There was one whole episode about getting Chi to buy some underwear. And of course, the beach episode. Which, I mean, some of those were fine. A lot of the initial premise, while fairly simple, was kinda confusing to me, since it did raise quite a lot of questions. For example, in one of the early episodes, Chi decides that she wants to get a job and ends up working at some sort of bakery, I think. Now the question is, if a parsocom can work jobs just like regular humans, then why wouldn't businesses just hire parsocoms instead of humans? Wouldn't it be cheaper and more efficient? This of course is an actual concern in real life, with many claiming that AI will take away a vast number of jobs out there. However, this doesn't get explored like that at all in Chobits, which I think is a negative when it comes to the world building aspect, since I do think these are legitimate questions. After all, parsocoms are really popular in this world, and we don't really get to truly see the impact they have had on society. At least not other than a few of our main characters. I don't know if it's just me, but does anyone else find it very interesting when you hear the word internet being mentioned in these early 2000s and late 90s anime? Just because the internet was obviously way different back then, so I like hearing what their thoughts of it was at the time. I personally do have some memories of what the internet was like in, 2007, but this was significantly earlier than that. Now, I want to talk about our characters. So the main character, Hideki, overall is a decent, well-meaning main character, though I did have a few issues regarding him. It seems like a lot of main characters from 2000s anime, at least from what I've seen, had this perverted personality trait that kind of got played out a bit too much in my opinion. I mean, it did get a bit tiring seeing him getting flustered over every outfit Chi ends up wearing, or any time he sees some skin on a woman. But other than that, Hideki seems to be a pretty hardworking guy, trying to better himself despite going through challenges such as studying. Chi is, well, very robotic to start with. It sort of reminded me of Violet Evergarden, but just worse. I did start to like her more as a character as the series progressed, but I still don't think that by the end of the series her development was done that well to a high level. From what we're led to believe, she is one of the Chobits, a special type of parsocom that can pretty much have a will of their own, but I feel that wasn't explored much. Now, Shinbo is our next character, and he is basically Hideki's neighbor in the apartment they live in, and man, this guy, I honestly didn't really have much of an opinion on him until it was revealed that he was, smashing his teacher. That came out of nowhere, which is something I can say about multiple romantic pairings in this anime. Now, the next character I want to talk about is Shimizu. Now, she ended up becoming maybe my favorite character later on in the series, at least for a while, and she is basically Hideki and Shinbo's teacher, and I liked how chill and fun she was. And it's then revealed that she has this relationship with Shinbo, which is one of her students, while still being married. Now, this was kinda off-putting at first, but when we got to hear her backstory and reasoning, it gave us some very interesting questions to think about. So basically, her husband ended up getting more and more interested in Persecoms, to the point he started to neglect his relationship with her, and at some point he basically fell in love with one and forgot about Shimizu, causing her to become very upset and question her own value. I thought this was a pretty interesting because I'm pretty sure something similar to this will happen at some point in the future with the advancement of technology. I mean, there's already discussions about AI robots replacing women and things of that nature. I'm not going to get too much into that. So this is just crazy to think about when you consider this was made in 2002. Like, if you think some of these ideas sound weird now, then just imagine what it was like back then. This theme is further explored when Chi's work manager and Hideki have a conversation in which the manager tells his story about how he fell in love with a Persecom and even married her. I don't know about you, but I can definitely imagine this happening in real life at some point in the future. When it comes to the soundtrack of Chobits, I would say it's above average. While I wouldn't really listen to any of them on their own, a couple of them do come to mind when I think of the soundtrack, which is more than I can say than a lot of anime soundtracks that are just forgettable. They generally have a nice melody and fit the scenes well. Now, for my overall thoughts of the series is that it's not particularly great. I wouldn't say it's a very good series, but I would still recommend you give it a try just based on some of the ideas explored, which might become very relevant at some point in the future. The second half, like I said, is definitely an improvement, and the ending I would say was pretty good. So anyway, if you have watched the series, what did you think about it? And did you like it? And yeah, just what were your thoughts on it?